All right, good evening, everyone. We are going to call this meeting to order. It is 4:06 PM on January 17th, 2024. This is the January meeting of the Kingston Police Commission. We do have a quorum, and so we're going to get started. We're going to go through some agenda items, and then we'll get going. So first is I'd like to ask for a motion to approve last meeting's minutes, which are virtual. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Commissioner Mapes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowden. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you for that. Oh, and we don't currently have any members of the public here. And so we don't have anyone to speak. I want to officially welcome our liaison. Hello, Drew. How are you? Welcome. And so first we'll start with communications. First, we can start with our police commission communications.
So yeah, we received 2 complaints via the website that we're doing the background on and we'll address next month.
Great, thank you. Chief, any communications on your end?
Just something that came in. I did receive numerous phone calls thanking the police department and specifically the Negron for the work he's been doing and dealing with some of the protests, these events that have been occurring from time to time. Ricky's done a fantastic job coordinating the resources of the sheriff's office, the state police, and really lucky that he's leading front.
Thank you. How about a report from the chief in terms of any updates?
Yeah, so we had Detective Reyes retire. He has since moved on to, I say retired job, but it's not. He'll be working for the district attorney's office and discovery unit, which will be a huge benefit to us as well, for all of law enforcement in Wilson County. And in another week, we're going to have Detective Beatty retire as well. So 2 very powerful forces in the detective division that we're filling right now with some special assignments. So we're doing well. We do have a bunch of candidates we're going to be interviewing and backgrounds we're going to be conducting over the next few months. And so far, everyone seems to be doing well.
Great. Trying to think if there's any other specific updates that I wanted to provide. Do you want to? I think we've probably updated the commission. I don't know if we have yet with the ARPA funding that we're using to spend to help make some improvements to equipment.
Yes. Yep. We're working with Bill Reynolds, who oversees the ARPA funding, to upgrade our firearms that are part of our daily carry. We've been carrying the same Glock pistol essentially for over 15 years, easily before I was chief. The new system that we're going to be looking for includes new optics. Currently, we have an open sight system. The new firearm will include optics, which are battery powered but covered by solar, and a new lighting system as well. So it is an all-inclusive unit developed by Glock. It is a 9mm, so we're switching calibers to go down to a reduced recoil. We've had a number of officers have difficulty maintaining the control of the gun in their hands because of the sharp recoil that the 40 has. changing the DCJS course of fire, we found that a lot of agencies, Buffalo comes to mind, is also switching to a 9mm platform. We came from a 9, we went to 40, and now we're switching back to a 9. There's been changes in the ammunition, so the ARPA funding will be providing that changeover.
Thanks for that. And I think one of the things that, we can just mention is that we've also been working with Ulster County on, getting kind of a good coordination in terms of the Midtown Linear Park. I know we had some issues this past summer and fall in terms of substance use on the trail. And we've been working with all of our partners to be able to have both our police officers out there, getting to meet and greet people and having conversations. We've had our mobile mental health ambulance out there, getting to meet with people and chat, and to work with also some of our nonprofit partners. So Ulster County Mental Health, Samadhi, a bunch of other folks have been helping to try to get folks the help that they need, and to also recognize that kind of our public trail system that we have, it's not really designed to have people using drugs. So we look forward to try to kind of get more people out on the trail this summer and spring. And again, our police officers will be there to help support that effort. So that's something we're working on right now. And, we've had some really good dialogue with the community members, right in the immediate neighborhood. And again, we have a lot of work to do still, but at least we're all communicating and talking, and we're making some good progress. Yeah. And we don't have official, DCJS stats yet, but folks may have heard in our State of the City address, we were able to talk a little bit about overall crime stats in the city. And so while we have had issues with overdoses, we have continued to see a decline in crime. And so in terms of our Part 1 crimes, which are the crimes that, the state and federal government track in terms of everything from larceny to car theft to assault, right? And then murder, rape, and all of the other terrible things. Our crime numbers have continued to go down. I think last year we were in the 560s, and you can't quote us yet because it's not official until the state reviews all of our records and then they put things in certain categories. But we're down in the 400s and some. So we're making really good progress. And again, I think it's a testament to the community working together. And so I'm happy about that. So those are my updates too.
Yeah, that's great. I should include that we did have, the last time we met, we had the Police Academy graduation. Ryan North graduated, as well as Dan Hefner, and both of them are doing very well right now. They're in the field training program, and so far so good. 2 new additions.
Great. Anyone have any questions for us about any of that?
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
How many more positions did it fill?
Oh, lots.
Lots. Yeah, with the two retirements. There will be
So we filled 2. That's a loss.
So we're back to, we were at 7, then we just had 2 retire, and then getting 2 to graduate the academy to come back onto the force brings us back down to 7. And so we are, I think what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing some candidate interviews from our kind of previous list. And then, very soon we're going to have a new list because there's a state list that we canvassed. People from all across the state could take the test. And so we have, I think, 4 to interview today.
4 today.
And then that we're on that list, that canvas back. And then once this list is done, we'll have a new list certified that for the folks who took the test a couple months ago. And that has about 17 people on it. And then we haven't done the canvas, or we're in the process of canvassing that list. Yeah, and then we'll see how many people off of that 17, want to actually be interviewed. And so we're hopeful that, we're going to get, some more bodies into the department. And we're also trying to look at the different police academies to figure out, we know that our police academy that runs right here in Kingston doesn't start until August.
Yeah.
But we're also trying to be creative on figuring out, are there other police academies that we can send people off to? and that's a challenge. But we're trying to figure that out. So yeah, that's our current status.
So what you said about the work that's being done in Midtown Park.
Yeah.
Is there a way of tracking progress? Since you're on the front end?
Yeah, so I mean, right now, I think our biggest issue that we've identified is not crime on Midtown Linear Park. There's been very few calls, if any, for crime. It's about overdoses. And so the county does track overdoses. And so they, have, but the data is only as good as kind of how the calls from Ulster County 911 are called in. And so, there are a few that have been identified, I think just one or two actual overdoses in the past year that took place on the Midtown Linear Park, as it was called in by Ulster County 911 as Midtown Linear Park. But we know that some calls would get called in as Elmendorf Street.
Right.
Some could be called in at the corner of Downs and the trail. And so we believe that, out of all of the overdoses, there was about 100 in Kingston in 2023. And out of that, just a few were on the Midtown Linear Park. But I think what we've seen trending in the last couple of months is a decline in overdoses in general in the city. We had a huge spike. And then we think and I think there was about 400, they said, maybe 500 countywide at the meeting. And so, we are a big portion of that, but again, we're the population center too. But that's the best way for us to track success, is at least overdoses going down. But again, from a crime perspective, we're not seeing crime on the trail.
We're not making arrests on the drug
No.
possession part.
Yeah.
Really, and for Oracle and Avert, for the programs that the sheriff's office runs, we have people that are part of that as well within the city. They're out there, I believe, every Tuesday or Wednesday, that they're walking the trail offering services. And that, they hope, that they gave a number at the time that it takes a number of offerings before someone says, okay, I'll try it. But they are out there. They're definitely, Narcan's part of the solution, clearly, to prevent death from overdoses. So there's that. Sharps container locations, we want to make sure all that is being taken care of as well. And that's why we have officers. We encourage them to walk the rail trail as much as possible. Get out there and actually see for themselves what they can do. So, and when they come across individuals that need help, offer that help to them. That's what they get.
Thank you.
All right. So in terms of unfinished business, I don't think we have any from last month. So for new business, there are a couple of things that we have to do, and both of those are in executive session. But the first one we're going to do is candidate interviews. Like we said, we have 4 candidates that we're going to interview today. And then after that, we have one complaint that we discussed last time that we didn't have all of the video footage from 2022. So we're going to review that today as well. And so with that, I'd like, unless anyone has anything else.
I just have a question. So the process, we're going off this list. So it's not the same service process then. So we can hire all 4 of these today? Typically before you had to have 3 candidates for 1 spot.
Because we have so many positions, we don't have to hire any. If you decide
No,
to
I
make
know
that's
that,
good.
but we also could hire all 4.
You could. That's correct.
So it's not like your typical civil service.
Well, we have 7 positions vacant, so we could hire all 4. In the past, when we haven't seen that level of
And
numbers
these are the last 4 on the state list?
off the state.
And
So
they were
that's-
the only
so,
4,
okay, so that-
right?
There were actually
That
5.
answers my question.
There were actually 5 names given to us.
Yeah.
One has never got back to us. It was a name that was given to us. We tried to contact them multiple times, email, phone call. She never got back to us.
And what's the process with the laterals? Or should we need to create one? Because like, if somebody, say Tony comes in and applies as a lateral, it's kind of foreign to us because it's new, right? We haven't been doing it. So what's that process?
Yeah, so there isn't a policy on it. I just asked for a policy for Poughkeepsie Newburgh to look at some of our procedures, to set it in place. Both of them offer lateral transfers once any existing civil service lists are exhausted, which has always been our unwritten policy here. We've always looked at, like this last time,
Yeah.
we had the individual
But
apply.
usually with us, it's the civil service, our task list, not all of the list, right? Now we're into the other list.
Right, well, the one officer that applied from another agency, that would have been considered a lateral, but we didn't have any civil service tests to choose from. So we've always vacated or exhausted those tests. I think Newburgh has a policy where it's 100, 95s, 90s, and 85s. And after that, once they reach 85s, then they can go for laterals. So that's their
So that's just the policy they created.
that they created. I do have applications for people that do want to make a lateral transfer.
It's so competitive trying to get guys, we almost need to be a little more flexible. Particularly if we're looking for local people.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I think for us, we're gonna be going through these lists pretty quickly. So today, we're gonna pretty much get through this list and then, next month, depending on if we're done with all of the backgrounds, we may or may not, because it's a large list of 17. We don't know how many of those are gonna canvas back, maybe only half will, because other half could have already gotten jobs in other places, because they take many tests, right, when they take these. And so we could be at a place where we don't have a list very soon. We do expect to give another test this year,
September.
and so,
September.
it won't be until basically next year. Yeah.
Next year.
The concern I have administratively is with that number of positions and those number of vacancies, we have to look at the field training program, right? If we hire 7 people, we put them all on different shifts, I just don't have the FTOs to train them all at the same time. That's why we're trying to stagger the hirings over the course of the next 6 months. So at least that way it alleviates, because otherwise we just don't get a break. There's too many.
How do you treat the laterals? You have to train them the same way? So even if a guy who's been on the job 3 years, you start.
Yeah, the only difference in how they're treated is we use the term when they count. So there's certain requirements that we have to meet for scheduling purposes. In the past, someone who came out of the academy would be counted after the 3rd cycle out of 4, out of 3 out of 4 cycles. With laterals, we count them on the 2nd time because they've already been police officers at least 1 year. So we count them in the number 2 cycle versus the number 3 cycle. It expedites the process by almost 4 weeks. So in a month, for officers trying to get time off and make adjustments to training, a month is a month. So when you talk about this many people involved, we do everything we can. So, but you can understand the concern, right? When you start looking at 7, 9 people. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So if we can stagger, at least 4, if any of them look good, hopefully we can get 1 or 2. If they look good, into the Broome County Academy, which is a stay away or stay over academy in Broome County. They're there essentially from the end of March until the end of October. But once they come back, we put them right into field training. And the next academy being offered is end of May. I believe it's Dutchess County Sheriff is offering an academy. And then our academy is the other local academy here that starts first week of August, last week of July.
And every one of these need the academy.
The ones in here today, yes, all 4. But again, then we have to look at.
9 positions.
Yeah. Then we have to look at also the lateral, right? There's 4 people from other jurisdictions that have reached out for me personally to start the process. And the process is they have to fill out the city application for employment, and then service director, executive secretary says, let's compare and analyze what their position as a police officer in this jurisdiction versus what we require. And as long as they match, then she can push.
They're qualified to get an interview.
All right. So it won't be a problem if we hire all 4 of these candidates today?
It would not. In terms of the number of positions, from a training perspective, it could be a problem. And we can talk more about, also the academy, and we have to kind of talk about that too, in terms of when we can get them started and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So our academy only once a year?
It's twice a year, but it already started the first week of January.
Oh.
Missed the cutoff for that.
Is there people in the academy, once they get them, they can become?
Here,
Not that,
We'd have to take
Not on
a
our
note.
list.
not on this list, but on the new list, we don't know if any.
I'm talking about from the January academy.
yeah, there may be people in the January academy, but I don't have their names, who also took our test. I won't know until the end of the month. Come January 29th, Jackie will certify the Canvas list and provide us with a list of everyone who says, I want to be a cop in Kingston. And at that point, we've already started most of the backgrounds, but not all of them, because we just don't have, she told them, contact us, some have and some haven't. So I think we're 11, done 11 people so far. And like the mayor points out, some have maybe already accepted positions other places, but we'll see once we get the canvas back. These 4 are off the state list. And then we have, come end of January, I'll be able to provide the commission in February with a list of names and people. I don't think we're gonna be able to hire, make interviews, to do interviews in February. I think it's more realistic to look at March. I think March is a lot of backgrounds. You know, we're down 2 detectives, you know, we have 2 people in a special assignment back there, but they're learning to be detectives, so that's the process they're going through. Which will make it still be okay, because if we look at March, we still have to do polygraph, medical, and psychological exams. That takes a couple of weeks to get through the appointments. And then on top of that, if we do March, use April for the tests, May is when the Dutchess County Academy starts. And then we can, if we get 1 or 2 there, and then possibly look at another 2 or 3 for the fall section.
And some of them hopefully are already police officers on the list or at the academy.
Yeah.
So, right.
Putting out your lateral, we could do in February.
Right, so I believe 1 or possibly 2 of them reached their 1-year permanent appointment from the other agency in February.
So they're not eligible until they do a 1-year permit.
They have to do a 1-year permit.
In order to be qualified for a lateral.
Yes.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, there is.
Well, and then come February, we'll have a list again.
Yeah,
And so then we have to decide with our policy.
well, that's what I mean, so you almost want to get the laterals in.
The list will be certified this month.
They'll be done, yeah, they'll be done with their 1-year permanent and their agency. So they're good to look at come February 2, February 2nd.
Well, then, as the name of the mayor saying, by our policy, you wouldn't be able to, because we'll already be certified list, that they have to go to the back of the line again.
Well, again, right, if we're looking at the policy, right, if we say, like we have in the past, we take civil service applicants first, then we do laterals.
That's the change.
The advantage of the laterals is that they can be plug and play, they don't need the academy. If we need people that need the
That's
academy,
the advantage of it. So we almost need to bring them in here before we certify the list. Okay, if you have one you think you like, then.
yeah, we do
Unless we want to, unless we want to change the policy.
Well, there's no policy currently.
We don't have a
No, so
policy.
no, there's lateral policy.
We don't have, yeah, we don't have a
We
lot.
don't have it.
We could mimic what Poughkeepsie did, and
Yeah.
say, up to a certain score, then
Yeah.
we'll slide.
Do that.
But if you have qualified guys now,
Right.
with 9 openings, it might make sense to interview them before we get the new list.
There's a lot of moving parts.
So, what I'll do is I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session to do interviews for our candidates. Thank you, Commissioner Mapes. Do I have a second?
Second.
And thank you, Commissioner Bowden. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, can I have a motion to exit executive session? Commissioner Davis, a second. Commissioner Mapes, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, so first we'll start, we have hiring to do. We've got, we did interviews today off of our current state campus list. And so I think we have 1 candidate to present tonight.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to hire.
We got it. All right, so do I have a second on that?
Second.
Commissioner Jordan, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then we also have the resolution of a complaint that we had received from the Attorney General's office, where that was where it was originally submitted, so we reviewed it as well. And so do I have a motion on that complaint?
I motion that it's be unfounded.
Okay, do I have a second on that? Okay, Commissioner Mapes, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and so I think that concludes our meeting for tonight. And so do I have a motion to adjourn? All right, Commissioner Mapes, second. Commissioner Davis, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you all so much.
All right.
Here.